It's
All right.
7:05 on March 31st, and I want to call to order the Townsend Housing Authority meeting. Can I have a roll call, please?
Natalie Call present.
Laura Schifrin present.
And Courtney Bradley present. This meeting is being recorded, as you all heard. And if we do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the
of the United States of America, to the republic
and to the
which
republic
stands one nation under God,
one
indivisible,
indivisible,
with justice for all.
liberty and justice for all.
Thank
Great.
you. Any additions to the agenda?
I'm just gonna, if you will allow me, I'm just going to, I know that you added that about the housing production plan and the planning board. And I just wanted to make a brief comment about the MRPC letter that went out about the housing requirements in the new law. That's requiring 21% of an increase for Townsend. So if I could speak to that under that same section, if that would be okay.
Sure. Okay. 1.6, we obviously don't have Chaz with us tonight, so we will keep moving. And then under the work session, so I have under here 2.1, the housing production plan kind of next steps and maybe some target goals. And so what I wanted to do is just kind of, obviously we have the approval now from the state and understanding what our next steps are on this. I know we've talked a little bit about whether or not it needs to go to town meeting or not. And I believe that we were told it didn't have to, but I wanted to get some input on that.
I thought that what we were told was it didn't have to, but customarily we do.
Yeah.
And when I think it's more of a presentation to the town, especially where it's now been approved by the state.
Okay.
My thoughts.
Yes. So does that happen at like a special town meeting, or where does that usually happen when you do this?
Well, it's been in the past, it's been at the following meeting as soon as it's done and accepted.
Mm-hmm.
There have been times when it was accepted and then the approval from the state came after. But in this case, because it was determined that it's not required, but more of a customary thing, it was sent and accepted. So I think it would be more a report to the annual, but I didn't think about if we had a place in the warrant or if they're going to ask for a report. If not, it can be done at the special. If it has to be put on a warrant and it can't be talked about at this meeting, then I guess it would just go to the annual.
Okay. All right, I'll see if I can get some clarity on it and see what we got to do.
I know the warrant's closed for the annual, and if we don't have a placard on it, it's done.
Okay. So the other kind of piece to this was obviously we had some strategies that they laid out for us kind of in the first year, and I was just wanted to kind of talk through and see if that made any sense for us to try to start to identify maybe one or two of those that we wanted to start to kind of tackle. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to look back through them and just see if there's any that makes sense to look at this year. And then I think Joan is with us too. And I believe, Joan, you have been working on a grant to help us with implementing some of this as well. So if we could,
Madam Chair, we received the grant
right,
and a $25,000 value. The MRPC, Karen Chapman, will be helping us with a 5-year action plan. And the items that you guys thoughtfully included in the HPP are in them. We selected a few, for highlighting, but basically everything's on the table. So it's really good news.
great. So I guess I can just talk to the ones that were identified for the first year, and if anybody has thoughts about any of these, and if we want to kind of take a look at them soon. So the first one was considering the accessory apartment provisions, remove the affordability requirement and create a that was listed under the first fiscal year. The next one was adopting local guidelines for development applications for the local initiative program. And it was number 6, consider zoning amendments to allow for development of affordable housing non-conforming lots. Number 8, study options for compliance with new multifamily zoning requirements for MBTA communities. I think this is kind of moving ahead either way, but we'll talk about that a little more on that agenda item. Number 8 is investing. Yep. Number 8 was
sorry.
Go ahead.
I mean, I know you're reading through them and I don't have it in front of me now. I know
Yeah.
you're reading through them. You want to are you just going to give us what you think should come first, or are we going to discuss? Just how do you want to do this?
I think it's a discussion of what you guys, how you feel about starting to maybe take one of these and just starting to explore what they might mean the first kind of year. Just because I want to make sure that we've got this plan now, trying to kind of take some of this and move it forward. I know that, like Joan said, they're working with that with the grant as well, but I think that, it'd be nice for us to take some of these, move forward a bit. And so if you have any thoughts, we could always, we could, I guess for next meeting, if everybody could take a look, we could discuss further about a few of these.
I don't know if it's my internet connection, but I'm only getting every other word.
Oh no, is it me? Is everybody?
I don't know. It may be mine. So, but I'm just thinking I'm only getting every other word.
Okay.
I can hear. I don't know. When I don't talk, I do put myself on mute, and as long as everybody, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. I would say, how about this? How about we all take a look through it over the next few weeks before our next meeting, and maybe we can each kind of come to the table with a couple that we think are strong candidates to investigate further for the first year.
Good idea. Good idea.
I mean, I can tell you what. I mean, I think now, if you want to think about it more for when we discuss it next time, and that would be the accessibility to affordable housing. And if we need to, there's nothing that says we can't tweak bylaws every year. So as things happen or change, like this new law that's coming forward with the units, because we are MBTA accessible or adjacent, that are going to affect us. I really think that that's a priority, especially with the shortage of housing. It seems to come into play with so many, at so many different levels of the housing and of our plan. So, I mean, the great thing was that we did get, help from MRPC to get a 5-year action plan. That fits right in to our housing production plan. So I actually just wanted to read to you, because I don't know if everybody has seen the letter that Glenn Eaton wrote. I just wanted to read the last paragraph of his letter, which was a 4-page letter. I think the Zoning Board of Appeals received it on the 26th, I think. It's hard to see from the stamp that's on here. Yeah, it has to be the 26th because it's dated March 25th. This was taken up at MRPC, actually, and it was a discussion and approved by the board of MRPC to have Mr. Eaton write the letter on behalf of the region and in reference to these criteria that many of our communities do not meet, basically because of no access to public sewerage. Okay, so he kind of explains that through the letter. It might be a good letter for everybody to read. But then he ends with, Mr. Secretary, I am privileged to work with the superior planning staff, including Transportation Projects Director Brad Harris and Planning and Development Director Karen Chapman, who assembled the above information, which gave him all the statistics of what we have in our area and outlines what each of the towns in the MRPC region are required to do. We believe that working together with the Housing and Economic Development Office, we will be able to find reasonable solutions to implement the statute's requirements on local level. Please feel free to call upon me at any time, and he gives his name. That wasn't the really, I didn't underline the sentence that I really wanted to say, and that was that he was hoping that something could be worked out to make it easier for local communities without public sewerage to still contribute to the growth in housing. So again, that just came out on the 25th. So I thought maybe it was the 26th. So I hope you, I wanted you to know about it anyway.
I did read through it as well, and I did sit on one of the. It was like a kind of an info session as well. I think a lot of the concerns that were in this letter were during that time, so it was good to hear.
Thank you for allowing me to bring that up. In this way, we have it on the tape too.
I have been speaking with the news coordinator as well, a little bit about this too, just so that we can try to all be working in the same direction in regards to this, and to possible areas that might work for some zoning. But I think we need to have a further kind of discussion, and it might make sense to do that jointly with other boards. I think otherwise, Lori, I agree with you. I think the affordable accessory apartment piece would be good to investigate here in the beginning. I also think the other one could be interesting to explore is actually the zoning affordable housing on non-conforming lots. I think could be an interesting one to just start to look around and see what other people have done in that instance as well. Okay, so for next time, I think let's put it back on, and maybe we could talk a little bit more about some of those goals, and kind of look to see what we'd like to start moving forward on. There. And I think under here, under 2.11 is the planning regarding the master plan chapter, Lori.
Yes, please. Thank you for putting that on. At the last planning board meeting, it was agreed by the board that they would like to have housing production plan incorporated in the master plan. So I'm going to be working on, well, we'd like the permission because Townsend Housing Authority is the one that basically had it done for the town, that the board could vote to give permission to the planning board to use the plan in the master plan.
Yes, I think, yes, I agree. If someone could make a motion on that.
I would like to make a motion to allow the planning board to use the housing production plan in the master plan. And I know you need a second.
Second, please, yeah.
I second the motion. I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just wanted to say for discussion on it, each of the members of the planning board are taking a section of the housing production plan of the master plan and giving their input for our final, planning board's final approval of the master plan. So I'm going to be working on the chapter as it's presented currently, and then most likely take sections of the housing production plan to incorporate within it. It isn't like the whole plan will be part of the master plan, but those referring to housing and goals.
Yep.
Okay. Laura Schifrin, yes.
Natalie Call, yes.
And Courtney Brelli, yes. Okay. The next thing on the agenda here is 2.2 affordable accessory apartment process. On here because Chaz kind of sent us a note. Actually, I think it came from you, Jody, about kind of looking at the actual process for an applicant and what the steps are if they are planning to do this. Because I don't think we have a clear process right now laid out.
I missed what you said in the beginning. Again, I'm having an awful time here.
That's okay. So, and Jody, I'm going to try to find the specific language here. I don't know if you've got it in front of you, but they're looking for a process for when you come to apply for one of these affordable accessory units, kind of process to follow to be able to do that. And this is, I think this is right from the affordability side, right? Not the process through actually going to get it, right? Through the town, it's more of the affordability side of it, right?
Do you hear me when I talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not getting everything that you're saying, but the process for somebody applying to live in an accessory apartment or somebody trying to build or make an accessory apartment within the structure that they have. What is this process for?
I believe that it is for the people who build a unit and getting that unit listed, I think, on the affordable database, right? Or going through that process to actually get it listed as affordable, I believe is the second part of it.
So who's looking for the process?
Excuse me, the ZBA, Beth sent me an email. So I'll read you the email she sent me. I think they're just looking for our input. Well, I'll read you the email. It says, Do you have any information on what and at what point in the permitting process the applicant must execute a regulatory agreement and declaration of restricted covenants for affordable accessory apartment if they choose to rent the accessory apartment to a non-family member? That we don't have any implications in the ZBA, but we want to be prepared. They're just trying to get a jump on it.
Okay, I believe the answer to that question is they should be doing that in the beginning. Okay, in the beginning. So when they're going to go for a building permit of this issue, they should approach the state because there's already a list of requirements, and it mostly has to do with the 15-year deed restriction that then gets put on that property. And then it has to do with the process they need to follow to rent it out if it's a non-family member. So, we went through this with the ZBA. In fact, there was one on Warren Road that wanted to do it, and she ultimately didn't want to do it because of the restrictions. What I was explaining to people at the time was some people don't want to do it because they feel they're not going to get the market rent. But because we're in Middlesex, that doesn't affect Townsend. They can get the market rent in Townsend because it's Middlesex. So if they are looking to do it to a non-family member, they must go through the housing application form, and the guidelines must be met for that. So if they're willing to do those two things, which is have the deed restriction and follow the process involved with renting to applicants for housing, I don't know anything more to the process than that, or restrictions to the process than that. My only other thing I don't know is how often, I don't know if that's something that needs to be updated on a yearly basis. So in other words, if you're renting to a family member, it doesn't matter. You can charge zero. You can charge whatever. And that isn't anything that is calculated or looked at for a long period of time. But I do not know the answer to if that's something that has to be reviewed every year, every 2 years, every 3 years, if the same applicant stays in the property. Does that help at all? Basically what I just said about the deed restriction and the process, those are available documents.
And by available documents, or you mean that somebody has it kind of laid out already for that affordable process, that piece somewhere? Okay.
I'm pretty sure I have a copy of the application and the process, and I think it's CHAPA. And I know that's a town hall. And then the deed restrictions, I'm pretty sure we also have that because Chaz had that. So it's in the files or documents somewhere. It's also available at the state. You go under Mass Affordable Housing. It should be on the state, the deed restrictions for affordable housing. As Chaz mentioned in the past, he has tried, I know I tried, Kathy Rougeau tried to get the apartments in town to be considered affordable. But we can't because there are no deed restrictions there on any of the units. They were not built to the standards of, were some of the things why we were told we couldn't do that. Outside of that, Chaz tried to get them to reduce the years at the state. And there was no success in that. So it's not stuff that we haven't thought about before, or tried to make some advancement on. So that's all I know.
Any other thoughts on that one? Everybody good?
Nope.
Okay. So the other one we had on here was the 2.3. I know we talked about this a little bit already. And I don't think I have too much more to add than what we already started to discuss. Michael, the land use coordinator, did contact me to ask me about the form that has to go in. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. It's essentially just a contact form on who needs to be contacted about this from the town. To which I asked that he be the main contact, but to make sure that he corresponds with us on any of that. But I just want to make sure that it gets to everyone appropriately. And then otherwise, he talked to me a little bit about thinking about some properties that might be able to work in some of this zoning. We spoke very briefly about that, but he had asked about the road property with that. And at the time, I told him I was not sure if that would work for that, but it needed to be explored more. And that I wanted to understand more about the transfer of that property to the trust. But without Chaz here, I don't know if we have any more information.
So what did he want to know about the Atwood property?
He wanted to know if we thought it might be one of the areas that could be looked at for this MBTA zoning.
Oh. Yeah, but one of the things we were exploring, haven't gotten anywhere with, was perhaps trading that property for some state-owned land.
Yes, and I
And the
did
reason
mention
for that, okay. So, yes, that it was it's been the intent forever to develop that parcel. My God, it goes back to my first hip surgery. So like 2016. In the fall of 2016, because I couldn't make the meeting, Chaz was there, Kevin Smith was there, Karen Chapman was there, people from the state were there, and looking at that property, and they were all really very excited about it. Unfortunately, everything that we had going, and that was all of our investigating of the VA properties, those that would facilitate the development of a VA property, site visits to other VA constructed properties, and those at the state willing to help us with financial parts of it. We weren't able to make much progress. Certain things were brought up, and then we decided that maybe that wasn't the way to go with that property, but housing is still the primary focus.
Madam Chair,
Yeah, Joan?
thanks. I've spoken to at least 3 different people, Glen Eaton being one of them, and I've asked at a couple of other meetings I've been on, MHP, et cetera, and everyone has effectively said that the state never trades land. They said the state never trades land. Maybe if there's a state project, if it's a state project, they would consider it.
So we were told that it would be an act of Congress.
Yeah.
To get it accomplished, but we were also told that depending on what the project was, the state could approve it. It's the legislator that has to approve it. I'm not sure if it goes through the state reps or if it goes through the Senate. or both. I'm not real familiar with the process at the state level.
And maybe if we made enough noise and somebody really wanted to shepherd it through and work hard, you know?
Well, they were very excited about the veteran aspect of it and had money to go towards something like that. Now, maybe now that we have this directive from the state and we are an adjacent community, and we are willing to give them like land for, well, like size, let's say, land, in trade for some state land that didn't have wetlands on it. I see that as being the only avenue to get the most bang for the buck, as far as to get the most use out of 11 acres of land. It would be best for us to trade it for something across the street there in the same area, you know. So we'll see.
Yep. Okay. So I think we'll maybe next time if we'll continue to put that on the agenda just so we can discuss it some more and where we're at with that process. Anything else for under MBTA community zoning? Okay. So I have 2.4 correspondence clerk's announcements. Did we have anything else, Jody? I didn't see anything.
No, there was nothing in the box that I didn't already send you. The only thing that I wanted to, I guess, address was something Lori pointed out, in which she is up. Her position on this board is up in April. So yeah. I don't know if you want to do a write-in. If we could recruit somebody else. I know Lori's always trying to get off these boards, but she doesn't seem to be able to. But I did want to bring that up, as well as Chaz, his state rep, is up in June. So, and I'm not really sure, I'm sure he is familiar with what needs to be done, but I just wanted to let you guys know that these dates are looming.
Yeah.
Do we, is it posted anywhere that that we have an opening or we're going to have an opening?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's on the website that these are open.
If you get the list of positions that do not have candidates running for the ballot, there's 19 open positions that do not have people running. I think that, and that does not include the state rep because that's different.
Right,
I did talk to Chaz about the state rep, and I did encourage him to make a couple of calls because I believe he would still do it. It's a more lengthy process to be state rep. And when he went for it the last time, Sheila was very instrumental in getting it done like within 5 or 6 months versus 2 years. And I think the fortunate part about that was he was already serving on the housing authority. And he did have many things to his credit. So to have somebody else come in now and try to do it, they would have to prove their ability to be a state rep.
Oh yeah, and I'm not suggesting that. In an ideal world, Chaz will just keep up with this. I was just letting you guys know about the dates.
No, I know that. But so anyway, I hope he's going to have some feedback or news on that soon. And then if I get written in, I will do it. But And it isn't that, I mean, I've been involved in this so long and I don't mind sharing what knowledge has been. And it is always good to have a new perspective on things. But as you can see with new, like Mike Crowley being new or Joan being new, they have a lot of questions, you know, about, and some of those answers can be quicker with people with experience. But then again, everybody has to start somewhere. So I'm open to whatever happens because I'm all about whatever's meant to be. So I'm good with whatever. Just, you know, it's out there. I think that there will be a, there are people active in the community that are concerned over the fact that there's 19 open positions. So people are looking for people who want to volunteer and will end up supporting them. And that'll probably, I would think, sometime before the election, within a few days. But in the meantime, there are people out there recruiting, you know. So hopefully we'll get some people elected who are interested in serving.
Well, I just have to say, Lori, from my perspective, it's just, I really appreciate, you know, all the wisdom you do bring to this and helping us through a lot of these things that, as you said, not having been through it in the past, is really helpful to have your knowledge on it. So, you know, I don't, like I said, I know you might want to step away, but would be super appreciative if you do get written in and decide to stay.
I would bring everybody Lori in for the housing and for Board of Assessors. Just write her in, okay? Everyone that can vote, I can't vote.
And
but
Board of
everyone else that can,
Assessors.
please
I can't
do.
get away from anything.
No, you can't.
We need you, Lori.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't mind sharing, but and now with the, you know, the fact that we have the Zoom meetings and other people can hear what we do, sharing and hoping that other people can take that knowledge and move forward with it. That's what I'm praying for.
Okay. I think the next item on our agenda was, oops, I lost my agenda. The meeting minutes. Does everybody have those?
I was looking at that like adjournment. I didn't see about the minutes. What are the dates of that? What was the date of those minutes?
February 10th.
February 10th.
It's
did not-
short. I can resend it again if you want.
Yeah, I think I
But you
remember it.
keep digging around there. Hold on a second.
Oh, okay. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as emailed to us for the February 10th, 2022 minutes.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Natalie Colley, yes.
Laura Schifrin, yes.
And Courtney Rella, yes. Okay, for our next meeting, I had down a possibility of April 21st.
What day is that on, please?
It is a Thursday.
Oh, I missed it.
Uh,
I'm driving, that's why I'm asking.
we Could, could we maybe go to the 28th?
Yep.
That's fine. I know
Oh,
what
wait
day
a
it
minute.
is.
Okay, that's after the election.
Hmm.
No.
All right, what the heck?
So then you're, no, we'll just make sure we get your name in there. You're all set.
Everybody write Lori Ann who's listening to this and on TV, right?
Okay, so,
And the Board of Assessors, not just this.
Um,
all right, here's what I'm thinking, Courtney.
Yep.
I'd like to try to get a town properties meeting in before we meet again.
Sure.
So, either that or maybe even the 5th of May, which is a Thursday. And the reason why I say that, unless you want to have some kind of report for annual town meeting, I think it might be a good idea to meet after the annual town meeting and see what happens there. There may be some direction given that night or comments that night that we should look at.
Okay, and this is assuming we don't need to do anything for our HPP that night.
For what night?
For the housing production plan, that we don't need to give any kind of report out for that, right? For that meeting.
The annual meeting?
Yeah, it's too late for that meeting, the annual
Right.
meeting.
I think,
Okay. Yep.
right. I mean, the
Right.
only thing that could, the BOS could report that the housing production plan has been accepted by the state, because that's a fact. You know,
Yeah.
whether or not, we also have had public hearings on that. We had a lot of input to that besides having a consultant. So I don't think we need to be really concerned about that. But moving forward and having direction, we may hear something between now and then. And if I can get town properties together before then to review, and maybe we'll ask Mike to join us at town properties.
Okay.
Okay.
So the 5th sounds safer than the 28th, is what you're saying. May 5th.
I think so.
Okay. Natalie, does that work for you?
That works, yeah. What day is it on though, please, Ann?
Thursday.
What day? Yeah, I'll be driving, but yeah, I'll work at 7. That's fine. As long as you don't,
Okay.
fine. Yep, that's fine. Thank you.
Natalie, is there a better time that generally works for you, or date if you're always going to
Well,
be driving?
I'm always, I work, the only day that I work nights is on, this Thursday. I work till 7 at Hanscom. Actually, I'm going by Chaz's house in a minute right now. That's the only day that I work till 7, other than Sunday. So I usually work Monday, Tuesday till 2, Thursday, Friday I work till 2. So whatever whatever works for you guys.
Is it easier for you on a day that's not a Thursday? That I guess is the question. to you.
Yeah, it would be, because in that way it wouldn't be traffic. Yeah, whatever works for you guys, it's fine. We can always make it manageable. I'm easy.
I could, we could do Wednesday. It's hard to do.
Mondays is fine for me. So.
Plan-
I'm off
well, that's
Wednesday.
planning board.
Right. Yeah.
That's planning board. Tuesday's just,
Whatever works.
what about Wednesday?
Wednesday the 4th.
Wednesdays- Yeah, Wednesday's open for me. I'm free Wednesdays.
Okay.
Just let me know.
Okay. I think let's try for that, and then if we could just maybe send Chaz a note and just confirm that date works for him as well.
Okay.
So we can try to get him on the next one.
Okay. All right.
Excuse
So
me,
you'll-
what Wednesday are you talking about
The 4th
May.
in
of
May?
May.
what date again in May?
Mhm.
The 4th.
4th of May. Okay, let me just,
The fourth be with
Here.
you.
okay, right now I don't see anything else listed, so just let
Okay.
TCAM know. Thank you.
Yes, we'll do. Thank you, Harley. Okay. Anything else?
Mm-mm.
Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'm making a motion to adjourn.
Oh, your thanks.
Laura Schiffern, second.
Roll call vote, please.
Never call you.
Laura Schiffern, yes.
And Courtney Rell, yes. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.